But it was yeah. I mean, there's a couple in there that are highly debatable when you look at just kind of the basis of what the debate is.
What got me going was the Penn State though.
Yeah.
Like, what are we watching?
Right.
I mean, if we were putting Penn State up there, you got to put LSU in.
I mean, I would think that. I know that they just extended him a couple of years ago. But I mean,
Franklin, yeah.
it's got to be warming up.
Expanded playoff is going to help him.
Yeah,
because
the expanded playoff will help,
or kill him.
Yeah, but I mean, he's going to win 10 games there every year. Yeah. Like he has that blueprint to win 10 games and make a push.
Even
at
with
a Big
the growth
10.
of the conference.
Yeah, Big Ten. I mean, you got to go play Oregon. You got to play Washington. You got to play
I
USC.
I think this expanded playoff and the conference realignment is going to kind of push the envelope on if he can pull it off or not.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of people on this expanded playoff where this could expose you.
Yeah.
Oh,
for sure.
Lincoln Riley jumps to mind.
Mm-hmm.
Dabo Sweeney.
Because like, what if Lincoln pulls like Alabama, a Michigan first game in the playoff? Like, you can't dunk that. You can't. You can't ask out of that game.
No,
so it's like, I mean, that could expose a lot of coaches that we consider good head coaches to be not really that good.
Have Brian Kelly on that list?
I was about to say, I think that Brian Kelly would be on that list. I think Brian Kelly has a potential of someone that, I mean, you look at the resources, you look at the program, you look at the weight, the strength, the conference, everything behind it, the roster, you should be a playoff team.
Yeah.
You should be a playoff team.
Every year.
I mean, if this thing's going to 12, you are one of the ones, and there's probably about 16 or 18 that believe we should be in that every single year.
Yeah. Right.
Every single year we should be in a 12-team playoff. There's probably 18 programs, 20 to be, just give it a fair number that say, hey,
we deserve to be there.
We better be.
Right.
Yeah.
We better be because we're spending money. We're recruiting at a high level. We've got top-notch coaches. We've got top-notch facilities. We're in a league that backs us. We have every single advantage, tool that we need to be successful. We better make the playoff. And I think that out of those 20 teams, the programs that miss, I mean, like, look where LSU was last year on a 12-team playoff.
Yeah.
Right on the cusp.
13. You know what I mean? Like, finish 13 this season and see how that discussion in all season goes. Right? I mean, it's a lot different to finish number 5 in the country and be left out rather than finishing 13th and left out. At number 5, you can kind of get to the podium and say, man, we had a hell of a year. We were right there. Finishing number 5 was a strong season. You can't swing that stick when you get up there at 13th. And you say, man, we were right there.
Yeah.
We just missed it. Like, nah, man, you got to crack a 12-team playoff.
Yeah. You got to you go 10-2 and as LSU you're in, really.
Yeah.
Like if you only lose 2 games, you should be in.
Especially when you talk about especially when you talk about a league that's probably going to get six,
and that's another thing. That's
4 to
another
6
thing
teams in?
for Big Ten and SEC coaches is that they want you to get in.
Yeah.
They want to let you in. So it's not as if you got to like go out there and wow. It's in the BCS. Like you go and you get 10 wins. You go 10-2. You're in.
Yeah.
You're in. And.
But then, you start playing the numbers game because there's going to be a lot of 10-2 teams in this new schedule situation. Like you look at Missouri, you look at Missouri,
Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Florida could sneak up and be better. I don't know. They got a tough schedule. It's
tough schedule.
It's tough around there right now. But Florida could be a team where it's like everybody's looking at them on the down right now, and they could actually have a really good team.
So, what do you think the most SEC teams they would let in? Like, do you think – because, like, with baseball, there was like, oh, you can't let 12 or 11, whatever. Would there be that same conversation with football?
Yeah. I mean, I think that there's going to be a cap on it.
I'd say 6.
Yeah, I would think 6. I don't know if they'll ever tell you that there's a cap, but I think, like, behind closed doors they're going to say, this is how many you're getting.
So, really, I mean, you have Georgia, Texas,
Alabama,
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss would be the next in line.
In there. And then
you're talking about like Tennessee, LSU, A&M, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about schools. There's a team in there that we're not even talking about.
Right.
Right. That's going to pop up. Might be Florida. Might be like Mississippi State.
Yeah,
could
Kentucky.
be Tennessee.
Yeah.
Could be Kentucky, South Carolina. Somebody that's in a different class, but catches a break. Or turns out to be a lot better than we thought they were. It just, for a lot of coaches, an off season is not going to be as smooth as it has been when you finish inside the top 10.
Right.
Well, I finished inside the top 15. Like, you didn't make the playoff.
Yeah.
CBS Sports Predictions has 4 SEC teams, and those 4 SEC teams would be Georgia, Texas, Alabama, and Ole Miss.
And to me, as good as Ole Miss has done with rebuilding that roster, I think that spot is the one that LSU could easily be interchanged into.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, I think that's the argument.
Yeah.
I think that's the art. That's the and what I've heard of people breaking down the league going into it, the toughest part for people right now is to put Ole Miss at 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where they're like,
can you trust them?
Yeah, right. Can I do this?
Yeah.
Should I do this? Because LSU's still sitting there, and I've seen their brand perform.
Yeah.
Right? It's like I know that they are not going to be afraid by the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And, the only reason why Ole Miss has a little apprehension is just because they've never done it.
Yeah.
But this is, make no qualms about it, this is the best roster Lane Kiffin has ever had as a head coach. And it's not
close.
It's not even close. I mean, USC top classes, Tennessee top classes, nothing. This is his best roster he has ever fielded, and as much expectation. And you can tell. I was there a couple of weeks ago. I was there just over a month ago, and you can feel it in the environment. You can feel it in the town. Like they expect to be good this year. They feel like they're going to be good. They have a returning quarterback. They dominated the transfer portal. They've recruited at a high level. Kiffin's locked in. Mm-hmm. There's no fear that he's going to leave.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they finally kind of crossed over and said, he's our guy. He's staying. I think there was some they got nervous when that Auburn job opened up. But now that he's kind of gotten paid, he's got his deal. They got their guy.
They're in a good spot.
Yeah, they're in a good spot.
Would his seat get hot ever? If they don't make it, because that was one of the names I was thinking, but I was like, I don't know if Ole Miss would get rid of him.
Not imminent, not within the next 3 years. I would say that he's as secure as anybody in the league. Yeah. I mean, unless they did the wheels come off,
right?
Yeah,
right, because he's got a really good roster.
Yeah,
I mean, he should win, and not only that, he's got a really good roster combined with a really favorable schedule.
Yeah.
Which is why I believe he looked at this season and was like, boys, we got to pony up.
Right.
Like, we got to go out there. We got to pay. We got to get these guys. We got to make sure that we land these players because this is as golden of an opportunity as this program has had when you look at the schedule, Saban leaving, to Lane Kiffin. I mean, he's going to try and play mind games with DeBoer.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's going to try and mentally break that guy where I think, DeBoer's probably going to pass the test. I mean, sneakily. Pay attention.
Right.
Pay attention.
Alabama does not have my attention like they used to. I used to be drawn much more to them knowing that Saban was over there always cooking and up to something. And whoever they replaced him with was always going to be, relieving to me just because he wasn't him.
Yeah.
That's it. But make no mistake about it, if you're paying attention, Alabama has not lost a lot of steam.
But one thing I will say, just looking at their on-3 recruiting class, they are West Coast heavy.
Yeah,
I know
that's a Sunny Hole.
That's
where that's where their head coach is from.
That's a question that they're going to have to pass.
That's where the offensive coordinator is from, and that's where the director of player personnel is from. Yeah. He's from the West Coast, so I understand the emphasis on recruiting West Coast kids, but
many
for LSU's perspective, you kind of don't. now you don't have to compete with that Saban effect of him coming in Louisiana and coming for Kendrick Law, coming for Shaz Preston.
Yeah, I think that's where Texas has become that player, right? But for the effectiveness and the production of what's coming out of that program in the off season and what they're doing is as efficient as it feels like it has been. It doesn't feel like they've missed a lot.
No.
Right? I mean, and look, still, it's not Saban. It's not, but it's still Alabama.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, it's not as if you're selling, I mean, you're selling gold bricks out there. I mean, you know, I mean, it's an easy sell once you kind of catch your footing. And, I mean, Nicky's still around, dude.
Yeah.
Ain't no telling what he's doing. I mean, ain't no, you know, I mean,
like he retired
there's no way he's playing golf every day.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I get it. He's not spending as much time.
I got to get some football.
It's still football to him.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, what are we looking at today?
They didn't give DeBoer his parking spot. It's still right there. Nick's parking spot,
and that's
still
probably
right there.
his idea. Like DeBoer's like, and that's the
league
only
at
way
Nick
you can
Saban's
play
parking
that, man.
spot.
Oh, 100%.
That's the only way you can play that is that I love him, I embrace him, I want him in the meetings. You know what I mean,
Gotta have him.
how else can you deal with that guy? I mean, you know, so I know that it has been, you know, kind of easy or maybe, you know, a soft spot to go and try and run and poke the Alabama bear, no pun, but.
Yeah, I'm good on poking.
I don't know.
I'll
man.
stay away from
I don't know.
But you talked about like a coach that would be under fire, like Lane, maybe under fire if they don't make the playoff with a talented team. Ryan Day is the one who should be very, very nervous about his spot and his place in college football.
If Day
right now.
misses the playoff, that would be a fireable offense.
Yeah.
I mean, Ohio State, and look, they got tilts versus Michigan, Oregon, Penn State. They got big games. Like they play big. USC.
Yeah.
They play. Do they play USC?
They might.
Let's see.
The only thing is though, that defense is.
But I mean, Ohio State has a Georgia roster.
Yeah.
Like they have.
And a Georgia defense.
Like they
No
have.
USC.
They do. Mm-mm. They don't. What's their schedule?
They've got Akron, I guess Western Michigan University, Marshall, and then Michigan State, Iowa, Oregon, Nebraska, Penn State, Purdue, Northwestern, Indiana, Michigan.
Well, where's that Nebraska game at?
At home.
No. It's after the Oregon game?
After Oregon, before Penn State.
Is there a bye?
No. Oh, yeah,
Yes.
it is.
Okay.
Yeah,
favorable
after bye.
Favorable schedule, though.
Yeah, that is because they'll need one after that Oregon game.
Yeah.
The one game I would say they probably like sleepwalk through is Northwestern because it's like I've heard a lot of players talk about playing at Northwestern. They usually put it at 11 a.m. and it's just like a tough place to play because I think is it on that lake or something? Like their stadium might be on a lake. And
it's on Lake Erie.
Yeah, and it's like very gloomy out there. It's just
it's Chicago in the fall.
Right. It's just a hard place to get up and play like a team that's just not really good.
Right.
So.
No, there's potential traps on everybody's schedule.
And if he loses that Michigan game at home,
that would be detrimental. That would be tough for him. It would be a tough scenario for me to find him missing the playoff.
Yeah, no.
If he misses the playoff with that roster.
Yeah, no,
that's
the schedule. I mean, the schedule is not. I don't see.
Yeah.
You know, more than 2 losses,
too many
maybe
landmines.
Yeah,
only ranked.
He might have to